Just around time for new rowing. There we go. That's the positive spin. The silver lining of it all is we can just jump in with a fresh start here and see how she goes, shall we? Oh me oh my. But what kind of start do we wish to embark on here today? We could try Mountain Dwarf again. In fact, this time we could potentially aim for a little bit more of a casting heavy Mountain Dwarf. I know we were kind of aiming for the hybrid style last time. We were going into necromancy, since that kind of school of magic does really well with a hybrid style character, but maybe this time we can take advantage of the Mountain Dwarf's really solid fire elementalist, or rather fire aptitudes. Let's see how we go from there. Maybe this will be our Sif Muna run. Let's see how she goes. We have not won with Sif Muna yet, Eric. No. So could be the run here today. And oof, this was the other part of not coming into today with a plan for if the worst should occur. I don't have any names pre-cached. Let's go with Durin Flamebeard. Just the most generic ass fantasy dwarf name one can come up with on the spot here. Perfect. And we will set a bunch of our caps kind of in the usual fashion here. I think I normally like something like 948 on a environmentalist start. And of course, get our auto pickup sorted as well. This time we will be picking up talismans, because we very well could find ourselves shape-shifting as we get later on in the run. And last but not least, we'll of course drop that Morg file, grab the seed, just in case any of you lovely folks are playing along at home and want to see how you fare. And with that, oh me oh my, oh gosh, I'm used to playing warriors. Immediately running in instead of playing to our strengths there. Whoopsie daisies. That could have been a very, very early end to this otherwise inevitably promising run. And with you, my friend, we'll definitely take a little bit of a step back. Fantastic. Okie dokie. Well, it's been a little bit, I feel, since we played a dedicated caster start. I feel like I kind of got into the zone of originally having done so too often and deciding to make up for that with a bit of a shift on things. Oof. Miscasting our level 1 spell. Not exactly what you want to see as you're starting off in the dungeon here, but shouldn't be the end of the world for us, and that is fantastic. In fact, we should probably double check here real quick. I mentioned having a good aptitude, but it's okay, a +2, definitely not too shabby. The -2 in spellcasting very well could bite us in the butt a little bit here, but again, the kind of glory of going with Sif Muna is that we will eventually have access to Divine Exegesis, so regardless of any of our skills, we'll hopefully be slinging some nasty spells as we get a bit further along here. Kind of in regards to slinging spells, let us grab the armor, and as soon as we're able to upgrade to a slightly heavier, more defensive stat block here, we will do so. Definitely bring this kiddo upstairs, please and thank you. And not too shabby. The thing about this new character is being able to use heavy armor while spellcasting, pretty much. That's definitely the main thing that I was focused on with Mountain Dwarf. I'd say they have two major kind of gimmicks to them. So the encumbrance of heavy armor is cut in half, just in regards to spellcasting. It won't affect evasion side of things, but spellcasting in heavy armor becomes a lot easier. Then the other kind of big specialty of the Mountain Dwarf here is that they are also able to enchant artifacts. So even if we find ourselves, as we oftentimes do, running across something that, you know, would be a pretty solid get for us, but unfortunately just doesn't have the enchantment rating to kind of keep up with the rest of our gear, won't be quite as much of a factor on on our Mountain Dwarf character, because we can always bring that bad boy up to speed as we will and as we wish. So it definitely opens up the possibilities of what kind of endgame weapons we can have, and especially on the armor front. You know, so often you'll find yourself with a piece of armor that has like fire resistance, regen, and some stats to it, but it's a +0 scale mail, so you can't really make the argument of swapping to it in the late game. But fortunately, not so much on us here today. I'll buy the Degeneration, even though we have no money right now. It gives us a free ID for the future, and we can hopefully come back before too long, and at the very least grab that Heal Wounds potion, because that one definitely falls under the purview of, you know, giving us... Sorry, I'm very distracted as I run for my life from Terrence, but it will ID the potion stack for Heal Wounds, and just give us a Heal Wounds, which in its own right is pretty fantastic. But Hand Axe of Venom, I definitely don't want to face off against Terrence in close proximity there, in close quarters. At the very least, we should head upstairs and learn some new abilities here. Blast motes can be quite nice once we get that a little bit more castable. I don't know if 24% is really falling into the category of being a realistic option for us here. But okay, Terrence, step one closer. Ooh, I did not save up enough magic to even cast a single Scorch. Being only level 3, not exactly putting me in a comforting spot here. We could now. We tried to get a little bit fancy with that, but there we go. We get one Scorch off, and the fire damage on our dagger actually synergizes in some small way with the Scorch. You know, giving them that fire vulnerability and then trying to take advantage of that. I'm still just failing my level 1 spellcast constantly, so that's not great, especially at this point. It's down to what, 4%? Of course, should expect to fail that, I guess. This is what the game is trying to impart upon us here today. But hopefully, Terrence will be just about the sketchiest thing that we find here on the early floors of the dungeon, if we can just have a nice, smooth ride the next while here. That would be fantastic. Definitely just blast these sons of guns. Hello, my rat friend. There you are. And we get the rusting of a drain nearby, so that is lovely. And I was about to start talking big about like fire elementalists are so good in the sewers here, because they're able to create the steam clouds, and that of course translates to a bunch of additional damage on top of what we're already throwing into the breach here. But unfortunately, Orc Priest, Sigmund, it's a veritable smorgasbord of fun times with friends here. I don't have a single wand, hey? But Sigmund's so close to dead. I want to wait till I regenerate just one more magic point, because I think a single Foxfire, which of course translate into 2 actual motes, could do the trick here. But at 18 damage, yeah, unfortunately not really our best bet. We could have Magic Pot. That's a good point there, actually. Don't know if it would have given us all the space we needed to operate, so I'm more than happy to play it a little bit on the safe side. That confusion coming in is not great, especially doubling down. Thanks, Sigmund. I appreciate it. We could just get through this confusion. Okay, no, I'm gonna have to start chugging random potions, it seems. Heal Wounds, not too shabby whatsoever. There we go. Fantastic. Well, hopefully our sewers is still open and ready for business here. A bit more of an exciting entrance into the floor than I was originally anticipating, but such is I guess contrary to what I just stated, such is kind of to be expected. Jeez Louise, kiddos. What the heck is going on here? Oof. I think I might have steamed myself a little bit there, giving myself the electric eel treatment. Oh, me oh my. Yep, I'm definitely hurting myself as much, if not more, than I'm hurting my enemies with the steam. But that does not shake the fact that we, of course, are still able to output a pretty solid amount of damage with those clouds. And in fact, in this kind of setup, when enemies have to approach us, we can a bit more safely take advantage of this. Especially with the kobold here, it's nice to get the foxfire's kind of body blocking shots as they try to make their way towards us. That is not too shabby whatsoever. We'll just keep throwing everything we got at the problem. That should do the trick just fine here. Fantastic. Not my favorite sewer overall here. I generally find that we don't get ourselves too much of the really good loot. But hey, more than enough for the time being to get the job done. Oof, that one Curari dart almost did us in though. But hey, it does mean that we get it for ourselves here, so how can I possibly complain? I think I might have miscast Foxfire again there. Apparently we have a bit of a casting issue here. We never paid attention in mage school. You know, it's not like they were especially welcoming to the dwarves, a less magically inclined species if the others would be believed. But we're here to teach the world differently, to take on dwarven racism, and let the world know what we've got to offer, if at all possible here. Okie dokie, let's get just a bunch of flames ready in advance of our new friend showing up, and that is wonderful. Holy cow, it's the sewer that just kept on giving, apparently. There we go, just a couple more to kind of put the pin in things here. Fantastic. And this should be the last little chamber here. It does look to be the case. So let's just run in here the old-fashioned way. And yeah, didn't get a whole lot of goodies out of this. I mean, a lot of poison darts. If that was the be-all end-all of the game, then we'd be rolling in it right now. Fortunately, not exactly what we were hoping for. We also did use up our heal wounds potions, and so hopefully nothing too sketchy decides to come our way in the near future. And at the very least, we get a magical buckler. I mean, cold resistance, maybe not the #1 best in slot option for us there, but should do the trick for the moment. Holy cow, Pargy. If anything, I would have expected to find you in the sewer we were just in. How about that? It does mean that we get some troll leather armor nice and early, and we should very easily be able to switch to that without affecting our spellcasting rates. So that is wonderful. Sorry, Jessica. Didn't really stand too much of a chance there, my magical friend. But okay, we're back into the general groove of things here. Hopefully feeling a little bit better after the touch and go start to our adventure. Lord Chabrianos, I don't think we'll go with you here today, though you are still on our list of gods that we need to take on at some point in the future. Of course, I'm always partial to playing the slower species on Chabrianos. Feels like a nice fit, and you get the extra piety very early on. But only time will tell where we end up going. Again, hoping for that Sif Muna altar. I think that's where I'm leaning towards here today. hey, we'll keep our door open, see what all comes to be, what comes to pass. And not too shabby. You gotta love Foxfire. Again, it's been just slightly too long since I played on any caster characters, so I forgot just how much I enjoyed the early part of the game with Fire Elementalist. As soon as you get to the stage of having enough MP to really spam the ever-living crap out of your spells, then you're in a good place moving forward. With no training on our shield, we still actually are doing pretty much just fine. So I'm happy to throw that bad boy on for now. We can even train it up nice and quick. And while we're at it, let's also get fighting. Chugging along here. That spell casting is going to take a while to hit the caps that we've set. So let's not hold out too much for that eventuality. And I should probably get Flame Wave up and running here as soon as possible. Spreading myself thin, which I'm never a huge fan of. Like, that's a lot of skills currently activated in that menu. But I think this time around should be able to afford it. We're using the Ring of Fire. In fact, okay, we're already maxed out power on Foxfire and almost maxed out on Scorch as well, so that means that we probably won't be wearing a second Ring of Fire, though I did have the inclination for a moment to at least try it out. Would have been interesting, if nothing else, to have just that much cold vulnerability stacked on us early on here. Ooh, laptop is not sensitive. Let's fix that. Alright, doggo. Okay, yeah, I'll release you. One moment. Oh, there you go. It's not time yet. Half an hour. What a sweetie. Okie dokie, Ring of Magical Power. Now that, on the other hand, we will throw on right away. Speaking of having enough magic points to spam the ever-living crap out of Foxfire, now we can do so to an even further heightened degree. So we'll see how that shakes out, shall we? D5, here's where I'm hoping that we run into the Economical Temple. I think technically it's possible to see as late as 6. Though that's never something I remember accurately. I feel like I'm constantly shifting around the different expectations in my head here. But there we go, able to take out the priest immediately is a pretty huge get for us. And otherwise we can keep spamming away to our heart's content. Fantastic. In fact, should just about do the trick for all of our new friends here. Ooh, are you fire resistant? Always like to double check with any of these demons. No, okay, a cold elementalist would have some issue here. I guess an ice elementalist is what the kids call those. But no problem for us here today. And a dagger protection, probably not going to warrant any swaps to our current loadout here. And that should be fantastic. Okie dokie. Now here we go. This is where we really make our money back. Just melt the ever-living hell out of our friendly Ice Beast pal. I guess not so friendly Ice Beast pal. Ooh, and no temple yet, so it's actually down to D7. So I was, in fact, incorrect in my earlier assessment. Oof, and I probably do want a Ring of Protection. +6 whip. Also can immediately take the place of the dagger we've been using. Don't mind if I do. And as much as I like the additional sustainability of having the magic power ring on, I think that we're better off with a slightly more defensive position, a rapier of flaming as well. So the dungeon definitely heard that we're playing on a bit of a themed run here, throwing everything fire adjacent, if not directly related, our way. Ooh, and a ring of intelligence now as well. Let us do a quick look-see-loo here. Hundreds, 58, 41. If I remove this ring, Scorch is quite a ways off from full power. But let's see the actual damage, I guess, is maybe what I should have been paying attention to. So we go from 2d7 to 2d9. I mean, pretty appreciable at these magnitudes. 4 damage is what, like a third stronger than 2d7. In fact, almost even more so than that. What do we wish to hear? I guess we can also check out with the intelligence how we looking. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with that, especially since we can also see that the failure rate's looking a heck of a lot better when we raise up the spellcasting statistic there. Stat attribute, never know what to call them. I guess attribute is the very D&D coded terminology to throw at that. And there we go for our temple here as well. Let's take a peek. Does look like Sif Muna's sniffing around here somewhere. And perfect. I think this will be the approach we go. We'll get a nice array of spells. We can definitely aim to be a bit of a blaster caster, hopefully in slightly heavier armor than we otherwise might get away with. So I catch my hair in my mic stand. Don't mind me. Hello, hello. Sif Muna. Our Lord and Savior here. Fantastic. Well, otherwise, let us just keep on keeping on. Again, the combination of Scorch and the wonderful whip that we've acquired should be enough to take care of a lot of the early dungeon threats. And if I can remember to handle things that way, it does leave us in a slightly better position in regards to trying to retain as much of our magic as we can, especially in some of these more extended encounters. So we shall see how that goes, shall we? Oof. As the confusion comes on strong here. Well, if that's all you want to do to us, I guess that's fine. As much as it's annoying and a bit of a pain in the rear to be confused consistently for tens and tens of turns. If it's all the enemies are throwing at us, then it doesn't quite have the staying power to cause us too many issues. Okay, we get some ice spells added to our book here. Again, not exactly what we were looking for, but we're going to be keeping our options open. In fact, let's maybe do a quick check-in with our spell aptitudes across the board. Air magic, no shot. Good to know. I mean, not that I'm too tempted. Again, a 15 rune run, I almost always train air magic because Maxwell's capacitive coupling is just stupid strong in a 15 runer. But for us here today, fire should be enough, potentially even on its own, to track through, but earth magic having a solid aptitude will also be a very nice boon. Of course, the thing to keep in mind there is that earth magic oftentimes is paired with conjurations. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. We'll see how things continue onwards as we go here.